There is a story that belongs to you, a story of ashes and embers, of battles fought in silence, of storms weathered in the dark. It is not the kind of story told in whispers or softened with pleasantries. It is raw, unyielding, and unapologetically yours. This is the story of those who tried to bury you, convinced that they could extinguish your light. They saw your struggle, mistook your silence for defeat, and believed your fall was the end. But they were wrong, weren't they? Because this isn't a story about endings. It's a story about fire. It's about fire. It's about citizenship. It's about the one true religion, the one truth. Fire. Untamed, unapologetic, and impossible to destroy. It begins as a spark, unnoticed, fragile. But with the right fuel, it grows, it consumes. It transforms everything in its path. And when the world thinks it's been snuffed out, it rises again, fiercer than before. That fire lives in you. It has always lived in you. Even when the weight of your trials made it hard to breathe, even when your knees hit the ground, that flame refused to die. They tried to end you. Maybe it was the sharp blade of betrayal, slicing through your trust. Maybe it was the relentless voice of doubt, whispering lies in the quiet of your mind. Maybe it was the crushing weight of loss, suffocating every ounce of hope. Whatever it was, it came for you with a force meant to destroy. They wanted to see you shattered, hollow, a ghost of who you once were. But here's the truth they didn't count on. You are not made of glass, fragile and breakable. It was that thought that made the ghost of suicide more humble and breakable. You are forged from fire, a force of nature, impossible to contain. This is not a soft story. This is not a gentle call to action. This is a reckoning, a demand that you remember who you are and what you're made of. This is your wake-up call, your turning point, your moment of realization. The world may have tried to bury you, but they didn't realize that seeds grow in the dark. And like fire, you don't just survive, you transform. Every scar, every pain, every loss has been fuel for the inferno inside you. When they tried to end you, they underestimated your power. They didn't see the resilience coiled beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to ignite. They thought they could silence you, break you, and leave you as nothing but a memory. But all they did was give you the spark you needed to rise. So let this be the beginning of something unstoppable. Let this be the moment where your story shifts, where the fire inside you burns so brightly that nothing and no one can stand in your way. This is your time, your story, your fire. Rise like the force you are and let the world see what happens when they try to end someone who is made of flames. This is your story, this is your fire, and it's only just begun. Listen closely. This isn't just another story. It's a challenge, a calling, a demand to rise from the ashes you've been buried in. This is for you, the one who has been underestimated, overlooked, and pushed to the edge. You didn't stumble here by accident. You're here because there's something inside of you, clawing for release, desperate to be heard. It's the voice you've been ignoring, the fire they'd tried to extinguish. The last thing you want to do is mess with the precise time that describes the time. But here's the truth. Fire doesn't die easily, and neither do you. Let's not sugarcoat it. Life hasn't been kind, has it? The battles you've fought, the ones no one else knows about, have left their mark. You've been betrayed by people you trusted, doubted by those who should have believed in you, and dragged down by a world that seemed determined to keep you small. And there were moments, dark, heavy moments, when you believed them, when you thought, maybe they're right, maybe I'm not enough. But if you've ever believed that, it's time to shatter that lie, because if you were weak, you wouldn't still be here. If you were fragile, you wouldn't have survived. Do you know what fire does when it's tested? It grows. Blow wind at it and it roars louder. Pour water on it and the embers smolder, waiting for the chance to reignite. Fire isn't destroyed by resistance. It's fed by it. Every blow you've endured, every failure, every heartbreak has been fuel for the fire inside you. And now it's time to let it burn. Why does this moment matter? Because time doesn't wait for anyone. While you're stuck in doubt, the world keeps spinning. While you're questioning your worth, opportunities are slipping through your fingers. And while you're believing the lies of those who tried to break you, the life you deserve is passing you by. This isn't just a story, it's a warning, a call to action. Because if you keep waiting for the perfect moment, it will never come. That's why it matters, and it really does. Place your faith in the future, because if you keep waiting for the perfect moment, it will never come. Your time is now, not tomorrow, not next year, right now. Let me tell you something about fire. It's wild. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't apologize for its strength, its brightness, or its power. And neither should you. There's a reason you're still standing. even after everything you've been through. There's a reason your fire never truly died. Deep down, you know you were meant for more than this. You were meant to rise, to claim the life that's waiting for you. By the way, but you have to want it. You have to fight for it. Think about the people who tried to end you. Picture their faces. Hear their words. Remember the way it felt when they dismissed you, doubted you, or tried to tear you apart. Feel the weight of that pain. Now ask yourself, are you really going to let them win? Are you going to let their actions define your life? Or are you going to rise like the fire they thought they could extinguish? You're going to see. This is the moment that matters. This is the moment where you decide who you're going to be. Will you stay in the shadows, letting life pass you by? Or will you step into the flames and become something unstoppable? Because make no mistake, you are unstoppable. You always have been. You've just been waiting for the right moment to prove it. So here it is, your wake-up call, your challenge, your invitation to rise. No one else is going to do it for you. No one else is coming to save you. But you don't need them, do you? Everything you need is already inside of you. The strength, the courage, the fire. It's all there, waiting for you to unleash it. So what are you waiting for? The time to rise is now. The fire is already burning. Let it consume every doubt, every fear, every luminous belief that causes you distraction. Let it consume every doubt, every fear, every luminous belief. Let it fuel your transformation. They tried to break you. They tried to silence you. They thought they could end you, but all they did was make your fire stronger. And now, it's time to rise like the force you were always meant to be. This is your story. This is your fire. And this is your moment. Don't let it slip away. You have fire. You've felt it, haven't you? That weight pressing down on your chest. The kind that makes it hard to breathe, harder to think, and nearly impossible to move. It's the kind of pain that doesn't just visit, it lingers. It becomes a shadow that clings to your every step, whispering lies in your ear. You're not enough. You'll never make it. This is all there is for you. Those words, etched deep into your heart, echo through every quiet moment. And maybe, just maybe, you started to believe them. Think about the nights when you sat in silence, staring at the ceiling, waiting for sleep to come but finding only more darkness. Those nights when the tears wouldn't stop, when every sob felt like it could split you in two. You were alone then, or at least it felt that way. The world was moving on without you and you were stuck, frozen in a pain no one else could understand. You wanted to scream, but even that felt like too much effort. So you stayed quiet, suffocating in your own silence. It wasn't just the nights though. The days weren't much better. You wore a mask because the world demanded it. Smiles that didn't reach your eyes, laughter that felt hollow, and conversations that barely scratched the surface. No one knew how close you were to breaking. No one saw the cracks beneath the surface. And when they did, they told you to get over it, as if your pain was a choice, as if healing was as simple as flipping a switch. Then there were the betrayals, the people you trusted, the ones who were supposed to stand by you. They turned their backs, didn't they? Maybe it was a friend who abandoned you when you needed them most. Maybe it was someone you loved who shattered your heart without a second thought. Or maybe it was the world itself, cold and indifferent, refusing to give you the break you so desperately craved. Each betrayal was a knife to the soul, leaving wounds that refused to heal. And let's not forget the failures, the dreams that crumbled before your eyes, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers. You tried, didn't you? You gave everything you had, poured your heart and soul into something you believed in, only to watch it fall apart. The rejection stung like acid, burning away your confidence and leaving you questioning everything. What's the point, you thought? Why even bother? But the cruelest villain, the one who knows your every weakness, your every fear, it's the voice inside your head, isn't it? The one that tells you you're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy of love or success. It's relentless, that voice. It twists your thoughts, turning even the smallest setback into proof of your inadequacy. It tells you to give up, to stay down, to stop trying. And sometimes you listen. Sometimes you believe it. The world hasn't been kind to you. It's knocked you down more times than you can count. It's made you question your worth, your strength, your very existence. You've faced rejection, loss, betrayal, and failure. You've carried burdens that no one else could see, and you've walked through darkness that no one else could understand. And still, they dared to expect you to keep going, as if you were invincible. Despite all the odds, however, you've kept your head high, and the random disparaging comments have lingered over your highlight reel, as if you were invincible. The forces that sought to end you were many. The people who doubted you, the ones who told you to stay in your lane, the systems that were built to keep you small, the fear that whispered in your ear, the self-doubt that screamed in your mind, the pain that weighed down your soul, they all conspired against you, determined to snuff out your light. They wanted you to believe that this was the end, that you had no fight left in you. But the reality is, that strategy wasn't good enough for the people who truly wanted you to thrive. They wanted you to believe that this was the end, that you had no fight left in you. But let me tell you something. They underestimated you. They didn't see the fire that flickered beneath the surface, the spark that refused to die. Yes, you've been hurt. Yes, you've been broken. But broken doesn't mean defeated. And pain is a teacher, not a sentence. It's not here to end you, it's here to forge you. You've walked through fire before, even when you didn't realize it. You've faced storms that should have drowned you, battles that should have destroyed you. But you're still here. That means something. That means everything. And no matter how loud the voices of doubt and fear may be, they cannot silence the truth. You are stronger than you think. You've always been stronger than they thought. They tried to end you, but they didn't realize who they were dealing with. They didn't see the resilience, the power, the fire within you. They thought they could extinguish your light, but all they did was add fuel to your flame. And now, that fire is ready to rise. This isn't where your story ends, this is where it begins. Let's pause here for a moment and take a hard, unflinching look at where you are. Not where you pretend to be, not the version of yourself you show the world, but where you truly are. The quiet, raw, unvarnished truth. Because if we're going to move forward, if you're going to rise, we need to confront the depths of the pit you've been sitting in. This isn't easy, but it's necessary. You're stuck. It feels like the walls are closing in, doesn't it? Like no matter how hard you push, how desperately you claw, you just can't seem to break free. You wake up each day with the same heaviness in your chest, the same ache in your soul. It's like carrying a boulder up a hill that never ends. And each time you stumble, each time you fall, that boulder rolls back down, crushing you beneath its weight. If you stay here, in this place, what happens? What does your life become if you let the darkness win? Dreams left to rot in the corners of your mind, potential unrealized, locked away by the chains of fear and doubt. A life unlived, reduced to mere existence. Is that what you want? To look back years from now and see nothing but missed opportunities and wasted time? To know you were capable of so much more, but let it all slip through your fingers? Let me be clear, staying stuck isn't just an option, it's a slow death, not of the body, but of the soul. Every day you remain in this state, the fire inside you dims a little more. Every moment you surrender to despair, the person you were meant to be drifts further out of reach. It's a tragedy, one written in silence, one no one else may ever notice. But you notice, don't you? You feel it. The ache of a life unlived, of a spark untapped. It eats away at you in the quiet moments, in the spaces where the noise of the world fades and you're left alone with yourself. And yet, I know it's not as simple as deciding to move forward. Because despair is seductive. It whispers lies in your ear, convincing you that this is all there is, that you're safer here in the dark than you would be out in the light. It tells you that trying again will only lead to more pain, more failure. It wraps around you like a heavy blanket, suffocating but familiar, convincing you that it's better to stay numb than to feel the sting of hope. Yes, they tried to end you. Yes, they scarred you. And yes, it hurts. It hurts in ways you can't even put into words, in ways you wouldn't wish on anyone else. But here's what despair doesn't want you to realize. Scars are not the end, they're the beginning. Every scar you carry is proof that you've survived, that you've endured. They're not signs of weakness, they're signs of strength. They show that you've walked through fire and made it to the other side. They show that you've walked through food and made it to the other side. There must always, and if you've done it once, you can do it again. But staying here, stuck in this pit, will only deepen the wounds. The longer you remain in this place, the harder it will be to climb out. And that fire inside you, it's still there, but it won't wait forever. If you ignore it for too long, it will fade. Not because it wasn't strong enough, but because you chose not to feed it. I see you. I see the pain you've carried, the battles you've fought, the nights you thought you wouldn't survive. I see the way despair has tried to convince you that you're not enough, that this is all there is. But I also see the truth beneath it all. You were never meant to stay here. You were never meant to let the darkness win. So let this be the moment where you face the truth, not just the pain, but the potential. Not just the scars, but the strength they represent. You've been stuck, yes. You've been beaten down, yes. But you are still here. And as long as you're here, there's still time to rise. There's still time to choose something different, something better. Sometimes something better than the ones you spent your life with. Well, you have to want it. You have to fight for it. Because the cost of staying stuck is too high. and the price of despair is a life you'll never get back. Don't let it take that from you. Don't let it win. Choose to rise, even if it's hard. Choose to fight, even if you're tired. Choose to believe in the fire inside you, even if it's just a flicker. Because that flicker, it's all you need to ignite a blaze. This is not the end of your story. It's just the low point, the place where the hero decides to fight back. And you are the hero. You've always been the hero. Now it's time to act like it. It starts here, right now. This moment is yours. The world may have tried to convince you that your story's already written, that your path has been decided by forces beyond your control, but let me tell you a secret. They're wrong. You hold the pen. You've always held the pen. The question is, will you pick it up and start writing again? Will you put this book down? Who knows? Who cares? Death isn't real anymore. You are not ashes. You are not a ruin left behind by life's storms. You are the spark that refuses to die, the ember that glows brighter with every breath you take. You've been burned, yes, but fire does not destroy, it transforms. And you are transformation in motion. Every scar, every crack, every broken piece is part of the masterpiece you're becoming. Scars aren't signs of weakness, they're proof of survival. They're the armor you wear as you step back into the fight. Think about that for a moment. Every time you've been knocked down, every time the world told you no, you found a way to keep going. Even when it felt impossible, even when you wanted to quit, you didn't. That's not weakness, that's resilience, that's strength. And it's time you started seeing it for what it truly is, a power that no one can take from you. Your pain, it's not your enemy, it's your fuel. It's the firewood that feeds your flame, the pressure that turns coal into diamonds. Pain has a way of revealing truths we'd rather ignore, of stripping away the illusions and forcing us to confront who we really are. And who you are is someone capable of more than you've ever imagined. If you contemplate what pain can do for your life, pain may prove to be the tool that makes you the person you never knew you were. Yes, the road ahead is hard. It will demand more from you than you think you have to give. But here's the thing, you've already faced the worst. You've already walked through fire and come out the other side. What's left now is to rise, not in spite of what you've been through, but because of it. Your struggles are not chains holding you back. They're the foundation you'll build your future on. Picture this, your pain is a ladder, each rung carved from the moments that tried to break you. Every betrayal, every failure, every dark night of the soul becomes a step upward, a chance to climb higher. You are not defined by what's happened to you. You are defined by what you do next. Will you let the weight of your past hold you down, or will you use it to rise? The time has come to reclaim what's yours. Your name, your power, your story. These are not things to be handed over to the world or to the people who doubted you. They belong to you, and it's time to take them back. Start with your name. Say it out loud, and let it be a declaration. This is who I am. This is who I choose to be. No more apologies, no more hiding. Stand in the truth of who you are, and let the world see it. And while you're reclaiming, take back your power, the power they told you didn't have, the power they tried to strip from you. It's still there, buried beneath the rubble of your doubt and fear. Dig deep and you'll find it. It's the strength you've shown every time you've stood back up. It's the courage you've summoned in the face of uncertainty. It's the fire inside you that refuses to go out. Fire's never out a day, never lost. No matter how far it goes, in your future you'll find that strength, and rest assured. Transformation isn't easy, but it's worth it. It begins with self-awareness, with looking in the mirror and confronting the truth of where you are and where you want to go. This is your chance to rebuild, not as the person you were, but as the person you were always meant to be. The old you was shaped by fear, by pain, by the voices that tried to keep you small. But the new you is forged in fire, unbreakable, untamed. Let every obstacle become a stepping stone. The walls that once trapped you can now lift you higher. The fears that once paralyzed you can now fuel your momentum. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, to become stronger, to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever believed. Reclaim your name. Take back your power. Rise above the pain, the doubt, the fear. This is your time. The fire is waiting, ready to burn away the lies and leave behind only the truth that you are unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. Now that philosophy, they tried to end you, but they didn't realize that fire cannot be destroyed. It only changes shape, grows stronger, burns brighter. And you are fire. Let them see it. Let the world feel your heat. Rise above it all and take your place in the story you were always meant to write. The pen is in your hand. The fire is in your soul. Now go. Burn brightly. Rise fiercely. And never look back. I know this is it. the moment everything changes. The moment you realize that the story you've been living, the one filled with doubt, fear, and pain, is not the story you have to keep writing. This is the awakening, the turning point where you stop letting life happen to you and start happening to life. This is the moment you remember who you are. They thought you were broken, didn't they? They thought they could shatter you into pieces so small you'd never put yourself back together again. But here's the truth they didn't see. You weren't being broken. You were being reforged. Every blow you took, every scar you carry, every ounce of pain you've endured has been shaping you into something stronger, something sharper, something unstoppable. Do you feel it yet? That shift inside you? That fire that's been smoldering all this time? It's waiting for you to notice it, to claim it, to let it burn brighter than it ever has before. You've been holding back, haven't you? Afraid of what might happen if you let that fire loose. But holding back hasn't saved you. It's only kept you small. It's time to stop being afraid of your own power. It's time to let the wildfire within you ignite. Do you still believe the lies they told you? That you're not enough? That you don't have what it takes? Or are you ready to believe in yourself instead? Because the truth is, the only thing standing between you and the life you deserve is the story you've been telling yourself. Are you ready to rewrite it? To tear up the script that told you to settle, to shrink, to stay in the shadows? Are you ready to step into the light, to claim the life that's been waiting for you all along? Picture it, a wildfire sweeping through a forest. It doesn't apologize for its intensity. It doesn't ask for permission to grow. It simply is. Unstoppable, untamed, undeniable. That's who you are. You are wildfire. You are a force of nature meant to blaze a path wherever you go. And no one, not the people who doubted you, not the circumstances that tried to hold you down, can extinguish that. You've spent too much time listening to the voices of fear and doubt, letting them drown out the truth of who you are. But those voices, they're not yours. They never were. They're echoes of a world that couldn't see your potential, that was afraid of your power. Are you really gonna let those voices dictate your life, or are you gonna drown them out with the roar of your own fire? This is your turning point. This is where you stop waiting for someone else to save you, to validate you, to tell you you're enough. You've been enough all along. Everything you need is already inside you. The strength, the courage, the fire. It's been there, waiting for you to notice it, to trust it, to unleash it. They thought they could end you. They thought they could put out your flame, but all they did was make it stronger. Every time they tried to snuff you out, they added fuel to the fire. And now you're ready to rise, to burn brighter than ever before, to show the world that you are more than they ever imagined. They wanted you dead. They wanted you alive, so they made you dead. Then they showed the world that you are more than they ever imagined. So ask yourself, are you going to stay small, or are you going to rise? Are you going to keep hiding, or are you going to step into the light? Are you going to let fear and doubt win, or are you going to let your fire consume every obstacle in your path? The choice is yours, and no one can make it for you. But if you choose to rise, if you choose to unleash the wildfire within you, there is nothing you cannot do. This is the moment that defines you, the moment you stop running from your own power and start embracing it, the moment you let go of the lies and start living in the truth. You are not broken, you are not weak, you are not defeated. You are fire, and fire doesn't break, fire transforms. They tried to end you, but they didn't realize that you were never theirs to end. Your story is your own, and it's only just beginning. Now go, burn brightly, blaze your path, rise like the wildfire you are. The world is waiting to see what happens next, and something tells me it's going to be unforgettable. This is it. This is the moment when talk ends and action begins. You've walked through the fire. You've faced the darkness. You've stared down the doubts, the fears, the voices that told you to stay small. And now, it's time to move. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now, because the life you've been waiting for isn't going to hand itself to you. You have to take it. You have to fight for it. And you're ready. Get up, stand tall. Let them see what they've failed to destroy. The world may have tried to bury you, but here you are, stronger than ever, flames rising higher than they ever imagined. This is your moment. Don't let it slip away. Stop waiting for permission to live the life you want. Stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect anything. Perfection is a lie that keeps you stuck. You don't need perfect. You need movement. You need action. You need the courage to take one step, then another, and then another, until the momentum carries you to places you never thought you could go. Do you hear it? That voice inside you? the one you've been ignoring for too long. It's saying, this is your time. This is your chance. Get up and rise. Let's talk about how. Let's break this down piece by piece, because empowerment isn't just an idea. It's a process, a daily commitment to becoming who you were meant to be. Here's where you begin. And reframe your pain. Your pain isn't a punishment, it's a teacher. It's shown you the cracks in your life, the places that need healing, the lessons you needed to learn. Take a moment to look at your scars, not with shame, but with pride. Each one is a badge of survival, a testament to your strength. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Start asking, what can I learn from this? Every challenge you face has given you something: resilience, perspective, a deeper understanding of your own power. Pain isn't the enemy, it's the forge that shapes you. When you reframe it, you reclaim it. And when you reclaim it, you make it your fuel. 2. Take daily steps toward reclaiming your life. Big changes don't happen all at once. They happen in the quiet moments, in the daily choices, in the small steps that add up to something extraordinary. Start small, but start. Here are some ways to begin. Chapter 40. Set intentions. Each morning, decide what kind of day you want to have. Focus on one thing you can control, one action that moves you forward. Create rituals of strength. Whether it's a morning run, journaling, or a few minutes of meditation, build habits that remind you of your power. Making habits hard sounds very simple, but it isn't. It takes bravery and commitment and strategies that execute on the daily ritual for long-term success. Celebrate progress. Don't wait for the big milestones to feel proud. Celebrate every step, every victory, no matter how small. Remember, every step forward is a step away from the pain and closer to the life you deserve. The important thing isn't how fast you move, it's that you keep moving. 3. Build unbreakable habits and inner strength. Strength isn't built overnight. It's built in the moments when you choose discipline over doubt, action over fear, and persistence over giving up. Here's how you build that kind of strength. It's finding the power within you for overcoming the past. Discipline the mind. Start challenging the thoughts that hold you back. When the voice of doubt says, you can't, respond with, watch me. Strengthen the body. Physical health fuels mental resilience. Find a way to move your body every day, not to punish it, but to celebrate it. Feed the fire within. Surround yourself with people, stories, and environments that ignite your passion. Let go of what dims your flame. You are stronger than you think, and every habit you build is a step toward becoming unbreakable. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. One where you take the pain that tried to break you and turn it into fuel for a life that no one can take away. This is your fire. Let it burn. They tried to end you. They thought they could silence you, bury you, and make you forget who you are. But all they did was ignite something they couldn't control. You are wildfire. Unstoppable, untamed, undeniable. Take a deep breath. Feel the fire inside you. It's been there all along, waiting for you to notice it, to trust it, to unleash it. Now is your time. Now is your moment. Go. Burn brightly. Rise fiercely. Let the world see what happens when someone refuses to stay down. The story they tried to write for you is over. This is your story now. Pick up the pen, light the flame, and write a life so powerful, so extraordinary that it burns into history. The world is waiting for your fire. Let it blaze. Go. Rise like fire, and never, ever look back.